Hello, so this is a video about interactionist theories of crime, sometimes known as labeling theory. Interactionist or labeling theory explanations of crime and deviance belong to the social action theory or interpretivist tradition. These theories are interested in how people interpret normality and deviance. They believe that crime and deviance are socially constructed. It's down to how people interpret things that determines whether something is criminal or deviant. So, because of this, we talk about the relativity of crime and deviance. In his classic study, Outsiders, Howard Becker in 1963 argued that there isn't a value consensus on normality or deviance, because these concepts mean different things to different groups of people. So no one agrees. Interpretivists argue that definitions of right and wrong behavior differ according to various factors. These factors that interpretivists argue affect the definitions of right and wrong include the following: place, social context, historical period, culture and subculture. Place, well, nakedness would be okay in the bathroom, but not when you're out shopping. Social context, killing is okay in war, but not in peacetime. Historical period, both bear baiting and cockfighting were popular pastimes in England and Wales until they were outlawed in 1835. Homosexuality and suicide were illegal in the UK until the 1960s. Culture, drinking alcohol is legal in the United Kingdom, but illegal in Saudi Arabia. Subculture, or who commits the action. Aggressive behaviour is more tolerated if committed by men, but less so by women. Young people's ideas about normal behaviour may differ from those of adults. So these are the factors that influence and make crime and deviance more relative. Interpretation. Interactionists believe that deviance is just a matter of interpretation. The same act, e.g. killing someone, could have several possible interpretations. For example, killing enemy soldiers in wartime or police officers killing terrorists in a hostage situation would generally be considered more acceptable and legitimate forms of killing than perhaps murder or manslaughter. Becker, in 1963, argued that no act is inherently criminal or deviant in itself, in all situations and at all times. Instead, an act only becomes officially criminal or deviant when it is interpreted as such by others. He calls this societal reaction. Interpreting an act as deviant is usually the province of someone with more power than the person who committed the act. For example, parents judge whether their children are behaving or misbehaving. Teachers do the same for their pupils. So power is an important element in labeling. Power and the role of agents of social control. Interactionists argue that the powerful in society often socially construct crime and deviance to suit themselves through the use of agents of social control. Those agents you can see here: the police, the judiciary, teachers, social workers, medical professionals, and the mass media. These powerful agents of social control label and define the behaviour of less powerful groups as a problem. As a result, the behaviour of the less powerful groups is subjected to greater surveillance and control by these more powerful social agencies. Conversely, the more powerful groups can often get away with less scrutiny and surveillance. The social construction of deviance. So Becker claims that deviance is a social construction. It requires two groups. One more powerless group acts in a particular way, and another more powerful group interprets the action as wrong and labels both the activity and the group as deviant or criminal. Becker notes that powerful groups create rules or laws in order to define what counts as crime and deviance. They then label those who fail to conform to these social controls as criminals or outlaws, outsiders, Becker calls them. For example, employers define what counts as deviance in their workplace. The role of the police. Interactionists argue that the police socially construct official crime statistics by interpreting and labeling the activities of groups such as young working class and ethnic minority males, as being more criminal than other social groups. They then target and over-police these groups, and in so doing they socially construct the official crime statistics. Holdaway, in 1998, argues that racial profiling by police officers may be responsible for the criminalization of black people. This stereotyping may account for their disproportionate appearance in official crime statistics. So, crime statistics may tell sociologists more about police stereotypes and racism than black criminality. Sickerell, 1968. Sickerell concluded that definitions of criminality can be negotiated by some groups. In his study of delinquency, he observed that when arrested, a middle-class youth was less likely to be charged with a criminal offence than a working-class youth, because the middle-class youth's social background didn't fit the police's stereotypical view of what a typical delinquent would look like. Middle-class parents were also more able than working-class parents to convince agents of social control, like the police or judges, that they would be able to monitor their child and ensure that they stayed out of trouble. As a result, middle-class children were counselled, warned and released more often, whilst working-class youths were more often charged with a criminal offence. As a task, you could explain in what sense the definitions of crime and deviance can be said to be socially constructed.